What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast of Beyond Click and Cliff. This is a podcast where I could talk about anything I want, and you're going to listen to it. No, I'm joking. You don't have to listen to it, but I hope you do. Hope you enjoy it. Um, we talked about Christmas Party Part 1. This will be Part 2. I hope y'all are enjoying these. It's just like I said, this is a podcast that's telling you about my life experiences and all that good jazz and what's on my mind. Hope I make you smile, laugh, and all that good stuff. But this is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. I think I enjoy doing this with you guys. I enjoy hanging out with you and all that good stuff. So here we go. We'll begin. Last week we did talk about part 1, like I said just a second ago. I told you about putting a dog in the Christmas presents and watching him scrape and try to open up Christmas gifts. Yeah. But this week I'm going to just talk about the family gatherings. You know, my family, when I was young, pretty young, I'm old now, I get it. You see the gray in my beard. But we did get to see, when I was a kid, we did go visit family on Christmas. We went to my uncle's a lot and had Christmas dinner. Dinner is always a good part. I always like the dinner, good stuff, always good stuff. And I kind of told you this before that my family is religious. They like to pray before the big dinners and stuff like that. You know, I guess they do it every dinner, but my family not so much, but they do. So anyway, not getting religious on you. I'm just telling you, just trying to build up the story for you. There's a lot of shenanigans that went down during the prayer at my family on Christmas time. And one is, you know, my grandma was old fashioned when she was alive, and she's the old way. And guys, do not take offense, and women do not take offense of this. This is just the time that she was raised in and how she ran her household. Okay, she did not like men in the kitchen. She did not think that was the men's place to be in the kitchen cooking. I know things are different nowadays, and I get it. I go and cook. My wife loves for me to go in there and cook, so she don't have to, which is fine. Marriage should be 50-50 and should share all the responsibilities. But for this in particular story, it wasn't like that. And my grandpa, me, all my cousins, my grandpa, my uncles, my aunts. Well, my aunts was in there helping. She allowed the aunts to go in there and help, but the men had to stay out of the kitchen. That was her only rule. While they're cooking for Christmas dinner or getting stuff prepared for Christmas dinner, that men does not belong in the kitchen on that time. Like I said, guys, you got to remember at this time, you know, she was brought up the old way, you know, and this is how she was raised, and this is how they ran their household. And like I said, I will reiterate, I don't believe in that now. Like I said, everything should be shared and helped out and all that stuff. But to the story, though, I remember my grandpa trying to go in there, and she would have literally hit us with rags to get us out of the kitchen, because we would try to pick food or give our 2 cents in on what we think should be cooked, and Grandma wasn't for that. She would not allow none of that to happen. But as they're getting the food prepared, putting it on this big table for all of us to sit down and eat and stuff like that, and women were in there cut up, laughing, talking, and the guys were out in the living room and watching TV or having a conversation amongst us. Literally, my family was trying to better up the next person. Oh, I tell you what, this last week, I plowed 50 acres. Well, you know what? I did 100. It's like that, trying to compete and having a peeing contest, like whose job was the hardest, who did it better. It was like that all my life. It was kind of comical to listen to. It's like, dude, you guys are Superman, I guess, because nobody can do it better than you guys. But anyway, that's how my family ran Okay, it's just crazy. It kind of annoying but funny. Just sitting back and listen to it, and you know what? And it leaves good memories in my head. I do think about the time that my grandma making homemade chicken and dumplings scratch. Even the noodles were scratched. They built from cooked from scratch. There was no cheating or buying out of a box. She homemade everything. Smell the apple pie in the oven that she worked all morning on making the crust. Everything from scratch, right? I don't even know what scratch from scratch is anymore. But smelling that, great memories. Love the memories. That's what I'm trying to share with you is my memories and how things took place. And so the wives, the grandma, aunts, my mom in the kitchen preparing food, getting stuff ready to put on the table so we can eat around noon or 1 o'clock. They'd be up at crack it on doing it while us, we were out there doing chores at our own place and coming over about 11 and helping Grandpa get stuff out and ready. So we get there, get ready to eat. Grandma's got all the spread: turkey, ham, green bean casserole, sweet potatoes, deviled eggs, whatever other people brought. Just all spread on a big table. And there's room for, because Grandma made us all sit at this table, and then she had this big old long table to sit about 50 people, because that's what was in her house. And this house was small, old farmhouse, 2 bedroom, cramming 50 people in there with kids. And of course, there was a kids' table she set up, but the grown-ups sat at the table, and motto was, as we went there, to kids got their plates first, sat down, settled, then we can sit down and we'll start passing the plates around to fill our plates up. Big old line, passing the food around and sitting there, and we get the plates, what we wanted on our plates, and it was prayer time. My grandpa always the one who said a prayer. It was his house, so he was kind of the king of our family. So he always done the prayer, and there's 2 stories wrapped in one, because this happens the same way every year. It's like clockwork. That's where I learned all my stuff at is my OCD. I think came from my grandma, because there's a certain way to do things, and I think that's where I got my problem. And everything had its place. And anyway, Grandpa get up, start saying a prayer. And me as a kid, at the moment, look at me. I didn't get this physique by working out. Well, Grandpa was pretty long-winded too, and it's like there's always a sermon in his prayer. And I'm like, oh my God, is he ever going to stop? I'm hungry. But there was this one time, I said this before told stories to my friend. I told, people who would listen. Habanero peppers sitting there cut up, seeds and everything. We liked spicy food growing up. And home from the garden too, so I think it makes it a little bit hotter too. I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory. Maybe y'all can answer that in the comments. Is homegrown peppers hotter than the ones you buy at the store? There you go. Let me know in the comments. But temptation, as Grandpa was up there saying the prayer, I took my little hand and grabbed, I think, 2 or 3 habanero peppers, thinking they were tomatoes or something, or something good. I put them in my mouth while Grandpa was saying prayer, and I started chewing on them. And if you can imagine my face turning red, smoke coming out of my ears, out my nose, that's how hot they were. I started screaming in the middle of the prayer, and my grandpa stopped his prayer, looked at me. My dad here slapping the back of my head, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I couldn't speak. It's hot. I mean, my dad took me out of the kitchen, went in the living room, and I was crying, literally tears running down my face, hot food, and I was crying. After the prayer, my grandpa went and got me a piece of bread, thinking maybe that would draw the pain out of my mouth. I mean, after said and done, I couldn't taste my food. It was that hot, I swear. And I'm like, holy goodness. And my dad, of course, took this opportunity to say, to, to lecture me, teach me a lesson, and say, see, that's what you get for doing that in the middle of a prayer. God is punishing you. I'm like, no, it's the pepper that's punished me, Dad. And anyway, that day, I ate my Christmas dinner. I could not really taste anything. My taste buds was still burning. That's one story. Now take the same setting. Take the same setting that I just put out there to you. Me and my cousin was sitting there playing cards on the floor, waiting for food, waiting for it to be ready, and we were just sitting there playing. I think we were playing Go Fish. I believe that was the game, or the game that we were playing was Go Fish. Next thing I know, it's time for prayer, and my cousin goes, "You want to play 52 card pile up?" I'm like, "What the heck is that?" "Yeah, let's do that. We do that before we go eat." Grandpa started saying the prayer, and my cousin took them cards and just squeezed them, and they just start flying everywhere during the prayer. And my uncle, his dad, and my dad looked at me, and their faces turned red. And boy, I tell you what, we got a talking to that day. That after the prayer, we had to go. And so we have to learn some respect, while we're doing that. You should be praying and not doing that. And we were kids, we didn't know better, but we learned after that not to do that during Grandpa saying his prayer. And horrible times, man. Have you ever done anything that you kind of thought was stupid? Like, at the time, didn't know better. But as we grew up and start thinking back, I'm thinking, that was kind of dumb. Why did we do that? Why did I eat those peppers, and why did my cousin wanted to do the 52 car pileup or 52 car pickup game? And why did we do that? That was a stupid move, because all we had to do, we had to clean up the game, and then I had to sit there in pain for a long time. Didn't really enjoy my dinner. So that was kind of stupid. I should have known better. I should have just waited and did my I probably been fine. I probably wouldn't have got them peppers. I just looked I think it was a compulsive move. It's like, I'm just gonna grab one. Didn't really think about it. I thought about it afterwards. Trust me. Has anything funny happened while you guys were having Christmas dinner? Or it may not have to be Christmas dinner. It could just be a dinner with the home of your family or whatever. It was anything that you done that's like, that was dumb, or did it without thinking and pay the consequences. I don't know. But I just thought it was kind of funny. Christmas is coming up. I wanted to throw that story in there somewhere, and I wanted to tell you all about it, because I think that is making memories. Years later, me and my cousin talk, and we laugh about it. My dad and me laughed about me eating peppers during a prayer, and it was good memories. My grandpa wasn't mad that I interrupted his prayer. He came and gave me bread, and he comforted me. My grandpa was the bomb, I'm telling you, man. Another little extra story. So was my grandma. My grandma and grandpa spoiled us grandkids. Let me tell you what happened. Let me real quick throw this in. We were going to Walmart. We were kids. Me and my cousin went with my grandma and my aunt to Walmart. And we thought, well, you know what? And before we left, my aunt told me and my cousin, do not ask your grandma for anything. We said, okay. we got to Walmart. Me and my cousin went into the toy section. We got to the Hot Wheels section. And me and him looked at the car. We thought it was cool. It was a '57 Chevy, and that was like the bomb to us. And we picked it up, and my cousin goes, "Watch this. You just follow my lead." I'm like, "Okay." So we walked up to my aunt in front of my grandma and said, "Hey, her name's Nancy. Aunt Nancy, can we, well, of course, my cousin goes, Mom, can we get this right in front of my grandma?" And she knew what we were doing. She looked at us and said, um, no. Then my grandma, "Oh, just throw him in the car, I get him for you." And, and my aunt looked at us with the, like, the look. Like, needless to say, we got the car. We were, later on in life, my aunt told us that my grandma and grandpa was going through some hardships and didn't have much money. Is the reason why she didn't want us to ask him for anything. And my cousin goes, "Well, we asked you. We weren't asking her. You said no, and she said yes. We didn't know." So, those memories there, your family does a lot for you, at least for most people. Mine did. I couldn't ask for any better family, and I appreciate all of them, and I love all of them. Guys, I'm going to leave this with you today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you do, please hit that like button down below. Maybe subscribe, tell a friend, hey, come check Cliff out over here at the Beyond Clicking Cliff, and maybe you'll like it. Be good to one another. Pay it forward. Be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. Somebody could be having a bad day, and hello from you, or hey, you look good today. I like your shirt. Could brighten their day and make their day a whole lot better. And this time of year, we ought to be jolly. Guys, until the next one, bye-bye.